Alright, let me set the context for the video. This is a 2.5 hour coding stream in which I am number one solving a fire, making sure something was broken, fixing it and deploying it. Number two, I'm reviewing a pull request that completely changed the UI, so fairly big PR. It redesigned the whole thing. Well, the redesign was already done by someone else. It just coded the redesign. I review it a little bit, deploy it to production, and just let it be. And then number three, I look at a similar PR on a different product, which completely changes its UI. I review it, I try to deploy it, it breaks in production, I revert. That's a brief of what happened in these 2 hours. The tech stack here is Next.js. Most of the repositories that we're contributing to are in Next. All the links are in the description around the PRs that were merged and the repositories. If you know Next 13 should be fairly straightforward for you to follow. Even though this is a slightly TypeScript heavy code base, so there might be times in which you get a little overwhelmed. Without any further ado, let's just get into the stream. Alrighty, hi everyone, you've read the title already. This video is going to be, it's 9 a.m. right now, so me trying to pick some top priority issues and fix some of these are already fixed. Find the right, pull request there, review it, merge it, productionize it. Believe it or not, every website that you look at might look like it's easy to build or whatever. It's doesn't take a lot of time or effort by engineers / managers to productionize. But my learning, at least on an open source project where there is less accountability compared to a job, has been every issue is divided into 3 parts. That is coding the issue, merging it into the master branch, and then productionizing it. Each comes with its own set of challenges, especially if you have maintainers you can't share secrets with. There are production databases that you can't give access to, sometimes developers and companies as well, but here also most open source contributors don't have access to production databases, Kubernetes clusters. So how can you take their code and productionize it? There are better ways to do it. We don't follow any of those better ways, which is why it's a extremely chaotic process to get people's code merged in. I will take you through some of that process today, talk through how can it be improved, and how are people contributing. We'll assign some bounties. Some of these are the things that you see on the right are the issues that we'll be going through, and some of these are pretty big issues that have been pending for a really long time. So we'll go through them and understand how this gets merged generally. And believe it or not, I feel this is how work is generally in a company as well. And I think this is how work will be in the future, where there are stakeholders who have businesses who want things built. There are developers, contributors who are good at coding, have the time to do it, and have enough incentive. Let's say whatever that incentive is, for some people is $50, for some people is $500, for someone else is $5,000 to build that thing completely. I think that's how work will happen eventually. I think that's sort of how work happens right now as well, but it's slightly unoptimal at the moment. Sometimes bad developers get in early and stick through a company for a long time. I think slowly companies are tightening that way. That specific market is shrinking. Anyways, people who aren't really interested in coding eventually would fade out. By fading out, I mean they would leave and go for other managerial roles or do some other business. That's been my learning from all of my friends who got CS jobs initially. But eventually, some of them who liked coding sticked. Some of them started to like coding slowly and sticked. And other people who did not like coding eventually, moved on to other roles. So that's just happening on steroids right now. Okay, it is a very easy filter of who likes coding, who doesn't. If you are the person who likes coding, I'm going to take you through, what you should. One of the few ways you should be spending your time. This isn't how you should be spending. Decide how you want to spend your time. But this is how I would spend my time if I was, early in my career. Trying to gather as much proof of work and of course get paid for it as early as possible, because that's what you're going to eventually do in a company as well. Without any further ado, let me take you through the first set of issues. Now there are a bunch of issues that I've listed down over here. As I said, they've been pending for a long time now. Calendar view people asked for 3 weeks ago, still hasn't. Someone built it, I think. I don't know. If not, then I'll have to pick it up. I've just prioritized things based on that priority. Number one is I'll go one by one. I don't want to take you through everything together. Let me give a brief of the platform as well. This is the platform that we'll be coding on today / trying to fix issues on. This is app.redxsteps.com. This is where a bunch of courses are hosted, where people who have purchased a course can go through notes, go through videos, and look at them. It's pretty much your standard course selling website. Here, one bug that recently came up is now we let admins upload videos because, let's say I'm, not free after class or whatever, these classes, some of these classes are being taken by other instructors, for example, DSA, this one right here. So that video class exists in that educator's laptop. So, they should have a place here in the dashboard where they can upload it. That is what the admin portal here is for. If you go to /admin/content here, which, not anyone can access it. Of course, it is gated. I think so. I don't know. The problem with this is we haven't audited this this repo very well. So if you find a bug, let us know. Very high probability you do. Once you reach here, you can see the specific course where you want to upload a video. For example, week 3 is where we had a class on Sunday. It is Tuesday right now, and I haven't been able to upload the second video of week 3. Week 3 had 2 classes. If I click on this, week 3, it takes me directly to a place for the 3.1 class. I confused you a little bit, right? Let me show you this on the main website. If you go to app.100xsteps.com and if you have bought the course, let's say the web development cohort, you see this. If you click on view content, you see all the content here. The problem is if you go to week 3 right now, right? As a feature, what we did was, if there is only a single video here, you directly go to the video. So if I clicked on week 3, it skipped the folder, directly took me through the video. Versus if I go to week 2 offline, or if I go to week 2 async.js, it first takes me to that folder. It takes me to a folder where I see both of the items here. Then I can click on an item and reach the final page. This is slightly good UX, bad UX, doesn't matter. The problem is if you have a single video right now, I can't really upload a second video here. If you go to the admin portal, this is good UX on the user side. On the user side, if week 3 only has one video, if I click on week 3, I see that one video over here. But on the admin portal, if I go to week 3 and click on this, I should ideally go to the folder view so that I can upload a new video. It directly jumps me to the video. I directly go to the 3.1 video. It asks me for where is the video link, the link to the final 3.1 video, and I have to upload it over here. This is the link to the slides. This is the link to the subtitles. And this is the link to the videos. The problem is, I hope you get it, I've not been able to upload video 3.2 because let's say if I want to upload something to week 2 async.js, I click here. It takes me to this folder view. I repeat, if I go to week 2 over here, it takes me to this folder view here. Same on the admin portal. It took me to this folder view. I can add a third video here, 1.2. third video, give it an image URL which is not relevant right now, admin password which is not needed again because this page is gated. Hopefully, I don't know, probably is needed actually, and the URL to the video. But the same doesn't happen if this folder only has one video. If you look at it, week 3 only has one video. If I click on it, it directly takes me to the video. I don't see a portal like this where I can add the 3.2 video. So I need to fix this. This is good UX on the user side. This is bad UX on the admin side. Admin cannot upload a second video to week 3 DOM. This is why, if you look at the Web3 cohort, you will find, I created a week 2 folder and then created a specific different week 2 offline folder. Ideally, this video should have been shoved here, but I went to the admin dashboard. I did not have the time. I could not add another video here, which is why I had to create a new folder called week 2 offline. And today it is Tuesday already. This class was supposed to go out, on Sunday or Monday. So we need to fix this first, which is why this is top of the stack right here. This was written a few months ago, so I don't even remember the logic and why if the user goes to, or the admin goes to /admin/content, why does the user, directly hop over to the video rather than hopping to this folder first? What we want to do is when the user goes here, 14/446, they should see the folder view. They shouldn't see the final video view in the admin dashboard. Cool. Without any further ado, this is the issue that we have to fix. Top priority right now. Let me show you the repository. The repository is present on code100x/CMS. There are steps to run it locally for you. I would love to take you through it. We're short on time. It's 9 and I have to leave at 1. So I only have 4 hours to fix hopefully a lot of these, which is why I'm not going through the process. Anyways, it is never a good idea to be handheld through an open source code base. You should always, do it yourself. This is one thing we discourage in the cohort as well. Okay, don't ask any questions here. If you're not able to set it up yourself, then you have a learning gap you need to fix first. and then come back here. Cool. If you've gone through, most videos on the MERN stack, you understand it well. This is not a too difficult a project to set up, because it's like a pure Next.js repo. Doesn't even have, standard things that you would expect from a MERN stack code base. Things like, a turbo repo or any monorepo constructs. It's fairly simple if you understand Next.js, which is why, I'm not taking you through the setup procedure. Let me see. Yeah, looks good. Let me open this locally, and I have a little bit of an advantage over you, which is I have access to the production secrets, which is why, my .env file, which I think I just showed here, so I'll have to stop the video and edit that out. Be back in a second. All right, sorry about that. As I was saying, if you look at my folder structure locally, there is a top level .env file somewhere here, this one right here, in which I've just shoved the production database URLs. This is bad for multiple reasons. Number one, if I open this by mistake, you can see my production database. Number two, this means our production database isn't protected. Ideally, whenever you have, a prod DB, it should only be accessible from your, EC2 or whatever, your VM cluster. It shouldn't be accessible over the internet. We are very bad on OPSEC right now, which is why, we just let anyone, the database is just open to the world, which, as I said, is bad. We should fix that. But right now, since the benefit that gives me is I can do local development very quickly. If you try to do local development, you will have to set up the database, migrate the database, make sure the database, has some data so that you see things like these, versus for me, I directly connect to the prod database, which, as I said, is a bad thing. But, we move very unoptimally right now. All right. If I run yarn dev locally, I see localhost :3000. It asks me to log in. Now, I think this won't work either because I need to update the .env file. Basically, if you look at .env.example, this is something I can share with everyone. If you look at an example.env file, it has a next auth URL that points to localhost :3000. This is where, authentication should point out basically where, I'm currently logged in. But the problem is, in my .env file, which, as I said, I cannot share with you, I've probably pointed this to @app.100xdeps.com, which is bad. Let me turn off AI really quick. I've pointed this to @app.100xdeps.com, which is why, I'm not able to, I don't get redirected anywhere here. So let me quickly fix that. Again, I will have to take a small pause. Let me fix my .env file. If you are setting this up locally, you don't have to change much here. The things that you have to change include maybe make this, keep this as true. That is fine. Don't worry about any of these. This make sure is localhost :3000. This is the most important thing you have to worry about, which is make sure, this points to your database. Could be a local database, could be a production database, that you've already migrated. I repeat, make sure you've already migrated that database. Sarkirat, what does migrating a database means? Go through the README here. It'll probably have a section, just have to run a few commands. So nothing too out of the ordinary. There are like steps that you can follow one after the other, and that should take you through, migrating the database. All right. I'm going to go to this .env file and, change this next auth URL to be this, and then I will be back in just 1 second. All right. I've changed the .env file. I have everything working hopefully fine locally. As you can see, if I go to localhost :3000, it takes me to this page right here. I can also log out and re-log in. Let me do that really quickly to show you everything. This is what the website looks like for me locally. The same would happen for you if you set things up the right way. Then all you have to do is sign in, which again you'll find it's a little quirky how we log in. So you'll have to go through the README, read through the README. It'll take you through how you can actually log in. All right, that was the wrong password. Now if I log in, I can see all the courses that I have. The email that I logged in with is actually an admin email. So I can go to /admin/content. And this is where the problem lies, right? If I go to complete web development cohort, which is /admin/content/14. And if I go to week 3 DOM, that's /admin/content/14/446. It doesn't show me the folder view. if I go to /14/430, it shows me the folder view. So somewhere in this, route handler, we're doing something wrong. Let's see what that is and try to fix it. So where is the route handler for /admin/content/ a very dynamic route? If I go back to this Next.js code base, and for this you will have to know a little bit of Next.js, else this will go right above your head. Let me still try to explain what I'm doing. Am I recording the right thing? I am. If I go to app/admin/ what was it? content/course id/module id/page.tsx, I see sort of a React component. Now, if you've not done React at all, then, I would say, let's move on to the next issue. If you've done React and not done Next.js, then also this might feel a little jarring. Number one, this file-based routing that Next.js has, okay, /admin/content/course id/anything should take you through this component. I repeat, what this file-based routing says is if the user is on /admin/content/course id/anything, /admin/content/course id/module id means anything, it should get handled by this async component. Now async components are also something new if you've not done them, but basically they're components that get rendered on a server. You can do a bunch of things at the top of this component that never reach the client, which is why I'm getting this specific course directly in the component. This might be very dangerous if you do it normally in a synchronous function in React, because then you're doing a bunch of database calls directly here that might not even work, because you can't really connect to the database from the client. But it happens in async components. Whenever you have an asynchronous component in Next.js, and take a pause here, feel free to Google it. You can do a bunch of these database calls at the top. They happen on the server, never reach the client. All right, this is where we get this specific course. What are we doing? We're saying that the arguments here, course ID and module ID, are going to come here as arguments. I get the course ID and I get the complete course from this get course function. Without going there, let's just look at what it returns. So it returns an NE. So we will have to we can go here and figure out what exactly this does. If this had a better type, then we would have just been able to see the type and figure out what it returns. This is a very complex function. It has extreme level of caching, which is why I'm not going in there. It just gives you all the details of this specific course. That includes all the folders that exist, subfolders that exist, so on and so forth. Full course content. Get full course content. This gives you everything. This probably just gives you titles and things. Let me just go in there. Yeah, this just gives you get course. The first call over here just gives you details of that specific course. That includes the title of the course, so you can probably show it here, Web 3.0 web dev, ID of the course, things like these. This second function right here is the most complex function probably throughout the repository, called get full course content. That gives you, as the name suggests, the full course content. Why do we need all the full course content in the same place? Because if you go to the main website, not the admin dashboard, you will see that this main website shows the user everything when they open a course. If I open this 0 to 100 course, I see everything on the left side in a sidebar. So I need full course content when the user reaches here, so that they can see the titles on the left, so on and so forth. So that is what this function does. This probably has a better type. Let's see. Yeah, it has a type called full course content array, which probably is an array of all of these items right here. Again, we don't have to go there. The issue to fix is what? The issue to fix is where did it go? This issue right here, which lets the admins upload a video. So we'll stick to that. Content type. This basically tells you, is the user currently, if this is the admin dashboard, is the user in a folder? I'm in a folder over here. Or is the user, on this page where, they've opened a specific video. So we should render this. If you look at the content, what does it say? If content type is video, then render update video client, render this component right here. If the content type is video, if the user is on a screen, which, is not a folder, but a video, then they should see these three. But if they're on a screen that shows them the folder, or, it's not of type video, then we should render, all the contents of that folder. This is exactly where the issue lies, which is, if you go to a folder which has only one video, week 3 DOM is a folder. If I go in here, it renders this update video client. Question is why? Why does it render this? The content type should not be video, it should be folder. /14/446 is a folder. /14/417 is a folder. All of these are folders. When you click on it, it should open a folder, show you all the videos inside. But for some reason, if you open a folder that has just one video, it directly skips over here. So probably the bug is in this content. There you go. Actually, the bug is right here. Course content.length equal to 1, then course content of 0.type, else folder. Well, this to just the question is, why was this added? It should just be course content of okay, the bug is definitely here. What am I doing here? If there is just one item in this course, then I assume just render that thing. It is a video only. But what we want is, if it is a folder, it should still be a folder. I know you're confused. I'm confused as well, even though I'm the one who wrote this logic. What is course content? Now here is where you have to dive a little bit deeper and understand what exactly is course content. What does this guy return? And it returns you get content by ID, full course content, this thing. It probably returns you all the contents inside this folder. Find content ID, content ID, folder, return content folder. What does this find content by ID function does? Okay, for all the beginners and maybe everyone, I think I'm confusing you a little bit too much here. Let me start from the top and revise everything. We're trying to figure out why does a video component render over here, even though this is a folder. /14/446 should render one folder video over here. It should render something similar to /14/417. It should render one video rather than, of course, 3 videos, because this folder has one video. This is a folder, it has one video. But when I click on it, it renders that video directly. It does not give me a folder view. Why do I need a folder view? I need the folder view because when I reach this folder view, I can add a third video over here, 3.2 DOM advance. So the question is, why does that happen? This is a completely foreign code base to you. As you can see, it's a known code base to me, yet I'm confused. Why did I write this line of code? And to you, totally makes sense if you're confused. That is what happens in most open source code bases. So, even I'm trying to figure this out. I, of course, have a little more context than you. But let's try to figure this out together. For us to understand this check, we first need to understand what exactly does course content return. What does this function return? This function depends on full course content. So we probably first need to understand what full course content returns. Can we log? Probably. I think logging it is the best way to understand what exactly does this full course content variable have. Let's log it. Let's see it in action. Let me refresh. Full course content is a very big array. Not a very big array. It has, folder 1. It has folder 2. It has folder 3. It has folder 4. And it has folder 5. That is it. It got logged twice. But if you look at it, what is full course content? It is what gets rendered on this page right here. There are 5 top level folders. That is what this full course content returns to you. If I open a new file and paste it, you can see the very first thing has week 1 orientation HTML.js. I see week 1 orientation HTML.js. This has 2 children inside, which is fine. If you click on it, you'll see 2 videos over here. So that makes sense. Okay. What does the full course content return you? As the name suggests, returns you the full course content, in a very big JSON blob. Okay, this is the top level folder. It has 2 children. If you look at this object, that will probably look something like this as well. And same for this guy, so on and so forth. It gives you all the top level folders. Okay, I understand this. What does course content return to you? It probably returns. What does it take as an input? It takes you as an input the full course content, everything over here. All these 5 folders and their children inside as well. And it takes as input this rest dot map x parse int x comma 10. What is this over here, Harkirat? What is this rest variable? It comes from here. Const rest equal to params dot module id. What is module id? It is, now this is where you need a little bit of Next.js, but basically this module id is an array of everything that comes after 14 over here. If I keep writing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this 14 maps to this course ID here. What is the page rendering? /admin/content/14 /admin/content/14. 14 is the course ID. Dot module ID means everything after that should get shoved into this module ID variable. So 430, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all of this gets shoved into an array of strings over here. That is what this rest variable is. And what does find content by ID, as the name suggests, should return you? Given this full course content, given everything over here, find me the content. Maybe it is this child. Maybe it is a child of the child of the child. This can have a very recursive structure, right? A folder can have a folder, can have a folder, can have a video. So what does get content by ID return you? It will probably, if you look at it, it is a recursive function which first checks, is the folder empty? Is the IDs empty? Which means, have you reached the right folder? This is a recursive function, which is why there's this top level check. If you know recursion, then you probably know about these top level end conditions. That is what this condition is. Throughout this code base, this is the most complicated bit, which is we have an SQL database. I repeat, we have an SQL DB, but we have no SQL tendencies, which means we have very recursive databases. One folder has another folder, has another folder, has a video, which is why this might seem slightly complicated. But let me again take you through what find content by ID does. Given the full course content array, which means given this thing right here, this is full course content. This is full course content, basically a folder which has some children inside, or a video. It could also be type video which has no children. It could be a folder which has multiple children inside, or it could be a video which has no children. An array of this comes as an input, and IDs comes as an input. Okay, where do you want to go? Which of these folder of ID 411 of then the first child might have an ID of 412. Which of these you want to arrive at? If I click on this last folder, I want to arrive at /14/446. Where is /14? /446/ nothing, which means I need to arrive at this last folder right here. I need all of this content on this page, right? That is exactly what I want. I want कि इस page के क्या क्या बच्चे हैं, all the children I want rendered over here. That is what find content by ID should do. Let's see what it does. If IDs.length is 0, that is not the case. The first time this gets called, let's log. What does it get called with? The contents which you already know and IDs. Let's see what IDs are. It is an array of 446. That is what IDs are initially. IDs length is not equal to 0. Current ID equal to IDs of 0. The current folder that we're trying to find is this. Remaining IDs is, it will be an empty array. Let me again put everything here. What was the array? 446. What will this become? This will not return anything. Current ID will become 446. This will become an empty array. Found content equal to contents.find. This, which means it will basically be this very big object that will be in this found content variable. If not found content, return null. In our case, we will find content. If content of type is folder, which is the case indeed for us, return found content dot children. Okay, it returns basically this thing right here. This object right here is what it returns. Or an array of object, I guess. If it is not a folder, then it returns. Okay, that makes sense. I totally understand what the problem is here. Yeah, this is a very quick patch that we added when we created this, which was, one, so this won't work for recursive folders really. This function is incorrect in the sense, this will fail if I have folder inside folder. As soon as we have two folders, it will break. But more specifically, yeah, it's a very weird patch, which is, if it is a folder, just return its children. ideally what it should return is the folder itself. Yeah, I understand what the problem is. Question is, why did we do this? Before that, I will see where all is this being used, because if I make any change here, all of those things can break, and it is being used in many places. So the problem though clearly I can see. Okay, if it is of type folder, you return an array with the video inside. If it is a video, then also you return an array with the video inside. So how will the front end differentiate? The front end gets the same thing. If I go to /14/446, or I go to /14/446/447, which is the actual video, this function returns the same thing. The find content by ID function returns the same thing. Versus it should basically this condition, this final base condition, should have something extra. Okay, should return something like this: type non-folder, and then the value is this. That would solve our problems. The only problem is this is being used in various places. So if I make a change of the returning type here, I will have to make that change in multiple places, which is why I'm a little I'm trying to not change this function yet fix it. I don't think there's a way to do it, but yeah, I'm trying to find the leanest solution. The problem with finding the leanest solution a lot of time is you make the patch even worse. So ideally we should just fix this function, and everyone that is using it should also get fixed. I was hoping this gets fixed in less than 5 minutes, but this will take a long time. There's no way around it, so let's just do it. Let me describe the problem, and if I describe this problem to an AI, it will probably be able to solve it for me like this. This is incorrect. It returns if the place you are in is a folder, it returns all the children. If the place you are in is a video, it returns an array with that video as the first element. That is the issue. If you look at it, if the place you are in, by which I mean, let's say I am in /14/446, this is actually a folder. /14/446 is a folder. /14 is also a folder. This folder has 5 folders inside. If I go to this /14/417, that is also a folder. If I go to /14/ this week 3 DOM, this is ideally a folder. But what happens is, if the last thing that you find, if remaining IDs.length is 0, when you're recursively trying to find, when you reach the final bit, when you reach /446 here, if the last thing's type is folder, we don't tell whoever is calling it, hey, this was a folder. We just say, these are all the children that exists inside. And the problem that's happening there is, the person who's calling it doesn't know if this was the condition that returned, or this was the condition that returned. If this is the condition that returned, it should render a video, because the last thing that is found is a video. But if this is the condition that is met, then it should render a folder, but it doesn't know. Usko nahi pata ki, if it is an array with a single object inside, was it this condition that was met, or was it a folder who had just one item? That is where this problem is, right? If I go to /14/446, there is a problem here, because this folder has a single video. If I go to a different folder that has multiple videos, then we don't have the problem. Then we see the 3 folder view. But if I go to a folder that has a single video, which means if control reaches here and this returns a single video, then whoever is calling it doesn't know if this had returned or this had returned. So it assumes I currently am a video, versus it should assume I'm a folder that has a video inside. So basically what we want is these should explicitly tell type folder, or maybe folder true, and then these are my children, content is this, folder true, content is this, else it should just return something like folder false and content is this. And the way you can make this super resilient is giving a type to the specific thing. Yeah, it'll have folder true, and if folder is true, then the value will be an array of folder content or whatever is the input here, full course content, or it'll have folder as false, and then the value that you have is full course content without an array. Whenever you're writing TypeScript code, this should be your step one. Then TypeScript will start to tell you all the flaws, or null as well, I guess. If you write this first, then it automatically starts to complain. Okay, you have a problem here. If IDs.length is 0, return contents. Does this base condition ever come? Folder true value contents. I think this condition is never met. Like you'll never reach this if check, because this check will break the for loop. You will never reach here unless IDs gets called with IDs length equal to 0. If it is 0 for the first time, then this condition is met, in which case folder will be true. What is the folder does not exist on type promise of doesn't exist on null. That is why folder does not exist on promise of. Wait, this isn't any sync function, my bad. So it doesn't need to be promise. There you go. All right, this is a synchronous function, which is why it doesn't need to have a promise. Content is folder true. Content does not. What is the type of this guy? Oh, okay. Full course content isn't a recursive array, is it? Children have something else, and content with metadata. It is not. Okay. If folder is true, then what should the children be? Probably be something like this. So you don't have to have very strict types here. I am going to add them because as time goes by, you should have stricter types. You're just digging yourself a bigger hole. If I can totally make this any and move on. For those of you who know TypeScript, I can just make this any and move on. But the stricter the types, the better your future is. Which if any repository is going to have a long lifespan, you should have the right types from day 0. Children is this thing, and bookmark is this thing, and content with metadata. And what is this? It is content with metadata and children, which could be something, and video progress and bookmarks. And what is content with metadata? Yeah, we have an extremely complicated type here. If you don't understand it, it's fine. Skip through some parts of this. The next few minutes where I'm figuring out the type of this value. Full course content has children which have this type. It's an array of this. Makes sense. That makes sense. What we're returning, we'll also have children, but we won't use them at all. So can I say, okay, it returns this, an array of this and video. It returns this array all. Yeah, this needs a better type. Child course content, let's call it. Interface child course. and let's make it this. And what I can say here is it returns child course content of array if it is a folder. And if it isn't a folder, if folder is false, then it returns full. Then also it returns this only. Alright, there you go. Now does the type error go away? And content does not exist on type folder true value. Oh, value is fine, I guess. This looks fine. Why is this giving me a type error or undefined? So let me just make this. There we go. All right. Cool. Not cool. Found content help. Cool. All right. I've changed this function a bit. At the end, after this is fixed, let me take you through the complete diff of the changes made here, so you can understand this a little bit better. Right now, I've changed this function. What this function returns. Before it used to return something else. Now it returns a slightly more complex object like this. So wherever this is being used, I repeat, wherever this is being used, I need to say, course content is this course dot value, and that gives me an error. That's not this. Equal to, and this will change everywhere. Now it is going to be content type equal to if course dot folder LDR, then it is going to be folder. Else it is going to be this. Folder equal to then folder, else it will be dot value not type. If it is folder, then folder. If it is not a folder, then simply the type over here. Alright, that looks good, and this change will need to be made everywhere. Again, I'll take you through the diff very soon, so if you don't understand this, I'm just fixing everywhere this is being used. Course content, so it's the same logic everywhere. That looks good. Where else is this being used? Okay, this is fixed already. This is fixed already. This one is not fixed. Same change here. Alright, that looks good. One more place we need to fix this. Fixed. This one right here. All right. What I just did right now, before that, okay, that just looks wrong now. This should be dot value dot. If type is video, then it will be dot value, and we probably don't have good types in here. No, we do have a decent type here. Why did it not complain then? Oh, there's a TS ignore at the top. That's why. This is why TS ignores are bad. If this wasn't there, as you can see, it's throwing an error already. But since we have a TS ignore here, I don't really know if I'm passing in the right thing. But I don't have the time to debug this right now. We need to end this at 10. So let's quickly go through where else this is being used. Here also I would assume the type is incorrect, which is why. Oh, there's a TS ignore. My bad. Either way, yeah, this is bad. Value.map, that looks good. Where else is this being used? Course content equal to dot value, and same change in the fourth place. Course content equal to value. All right, let's see this in action now. Seems pretty fixed to me already. If I go to /content/14, now if I go to week 3 DOM, it takes me to this folder. Why is this good? Because now I can add 3.2 DOM advanced over here. And yeah, I'm not going to put this password in front of you guys, but you get the idea. I can add another video here, and people are happy. The video that was shot on Sunday now appears over here, or I can add over here. Let me quickly, I don't want to share this admin password to everyone, which is why let me go off screen for a second and add a video here. I'll just add a few URLs here randomly, put the password, click on submit, and we should see another video over here. Just give me 1 second. Oh, I think it is done. We'll see. There's some level of caching we have, which is why it won't appear immediately. But I think, oh, there you go. I have the DOM advanced video now here. If I go here, I can put the URL for the actual video, put the URL for the slides. I already have that, so let me add that really quickly, so students can actually see this on the main website. So update slide links. The video is still being uploaded. As soon as it finishes uploading is when I will change these URLs so people can actually see the video. But if you go to the original dashboard now, so localhost 3000, if you go to web development cohort and go to week 3, now you see 2 videos. This one doesn't have the right URLs, which is why it won't run right now. If you click on 3.2 DOM advanced, something broke. I think I know why. Yeah, oh, well, never mind. Let's look at the error. Cannot read properties of undefined reading bookmark. I feel like I have not. Oh, yeah, I need to make that change here as well. Content type equal to, course content type, that looks right. Course view.tsx bookmark, course content of 0.bookmark. Yeah, that's a problem. That's a very big problem. This is why I need better types. So course content of 0.bookmark will not be the case anymore, and yep, there's all of this ugliness that just assumes the course content of will be an array, because it was an array before. If you remember, we were returning an ugly array here, even though there was a single element inside, and that is a problem now, because there you go. Notion, if it is video, because if the content type is video, then id is not course content of 0.id, it is course content.id. It is course content dot this thing and this thing. that is exactly where the bug was. It said okay, course content dot bookmark doesn't exist because course content of 0 did not exist. Now course content is slightly cleaner. We've actually make this better. This was ugly before, but it'll be happy to explain it also. But let me just fix it first. Here it'll be fine. Here course content is an array, but everywhere else, if you are in a Notion doc, then also it will be course content dot id. This is why course content needs a better type. This needs to have a better type. It shouldn't be an any over here. It should be whatever this guy returns, which will be this child course content of array or child course content. It will be one of these two, which is why it is a little problematic, because it could be an array if you're in a folder. It could be a normal just child course content if you're not in a folder. Let's see it now. Actually, the better type here would be something like this. If folder is true, yeah, you should just shove the whole thing here. Where is this being used? Not in a lot of places. So let's fix that. Let's have course content and content type shoved together as course content. So course content is not going to be this, but this, and wherever we are using this course view, rather than passing this, I'm going to just pass this. Probably need to have a or null as well. There we go. And the other place as well. I know most of you lost me, which is fine. If you solve an issue and I follow along, I will also be pretty lost. A lot of times, context that remains in your mind is, the only person who's coding it understands it. So don't feel weird if you don't understand it. Most people don't. Like content type is not needed anymore. And course content dot folder, then it will be folder, else it will be dot value dot type. This thing we're writing too often, so we should encapsulate this into a function. I've not done it, but it should be done. Yeah, here also it will be .id notion renderer dot value dot id. That is fine, and I can just do this const content type equal to this needs to be fixed, because TypeScript should be smart enough to know this won't be an array. Considering if content type is this, then let's see if the error goes away if I write this. If course content dot folder and course content dot value dot type equal to Notion. Yeah, this error goes away. You can just tell TypeScript some extra things for it to figure out catch ID does exist here. Number is not assignable to string, which is a good error. So, just convert this to a string. That's how the TypeScript error goes away. If it is folder, again, you should probably do something like this here, so that a bunch of these errors sort of go away. Yeah. So the goal always is to make TypeScript happy. If you're coding in a way where you're just making TypeScript happy, you'll write the right code. Versus if you're not using TypeScript or not using it the right way, then you have to think a lot. If you use TypeScript, then the compiler thinks a lot and you don't think much. For example, I'm not thinking right now. I'm just trying to make TypeScript happy. And hopefully, if all you're doing is making TypeScript happy, the final thing is also happy. All right. What's the problem here? Number or child course content is not assignable. Number or child course. Okay. there needs to be an ID here. And so again, I would have completely missed this if I did not have TypeScript or the right types, which is why, you know, having TypeScript helps a lot. Here also, what is it telling me? Undefined is not, so I'll just make this false. Boolean is not assignable to, oh, what type does it expect? Bookmark or null. So let's just make it null. Alright, TypeScript is happy. If it is a video or a Notion doc is when you see comments. That sounds right to me. So it will be course content dot value dot id. Again, if you really want to make TypeScript happy here, you can add this check and you're good to go. So this check isn't really needed for runtime. It is needed because, as you can see, as soon as I add this check, TypeScript becomes happy. There's probably another way to do it, but I'm not going there. Value, not comments, count, does not exist on child course content. How was this working before? I have no idea. This is something I need to check out. Child course content is this thing, and content manager. This probably needs to have a comment count. I don't know actually. Let me not assume this. You know, we'll fix this eventually. Let me put a TS ignore here. We're already at 10. All right, let's fix this really quickly. If it is a folder, then for sure this needs to be value dot map. Map does not exist on child course, but why? It's already this thing. Okay, again, there's no point of content type if I'm being honest, because, you know, to make TypeScript happy, I have to re-add the check of if course content dot folder. Then you do this. Now if I do this, does TypeScript become happy? It doesn't. Why? There you go. At least this side became happy. This side didn't. Bookmark is missing on this thing right here. Can you bookmark a folder? Does it even needed? Oh, let's make it null for now. All right. TypeScript is happy. I am not happy after a very long debug session. This code isn't written. It is written well, but you need a lot of context for you to be able to understand it, which makes it a very bad candidate for a video. But let me finish this up and, you know, make sure everything is working, and then we can move on to another one. Where did we make this change? What was that component called course view? So where is course view being used? I changed the type of course view, right? I added course content. I fixed it in one place. No need to pass this in. Course content is this. I think this is fixed, and you don't need this anymore. What about the other one? Content type is not needed, and course content is course content that directly comes from here. Content type is not needed. All right, let's see if it works. Refresh. Something went wrong again, or did it? No, it didn't. 3.2. I see here video still being uploaded. Cool. I will fix this. I will fix the URL as soon as the video is uploaded. It's still being uploaded to the dashboard. I'm going to test this heavily. I'm going to be too surprised if this breaks somewhere. Me open a Notion doc. Yeah, we need like heavy caching. It is like really slow, especially in, well, we can't really add caching to Notion docs. Alrighty, the notes are amazing level. Kudos to the note maker. Well, kudos to you, sir. What does it say? How to download this, as tapping only gets me through. Okay, does the download feature broken? Never mind, I'm going off context here. The point is, this is fixed now. If there is ever a folder that has only one video for an admin, I repeat, if I go to /admin/content, if I open any folder that has a single video, for example, if I open the Web3 cohort, I had to create this week 2 offline separate from week 2, even though, you know, they have very similar things, because this folder had a single video. I wasn't able to add another video here, but now I can. Now I can add a second video here because I see the folder view correctly. I had to make a lot of changes to fix it because the way this was written was very white patched initially. You know, too many band-aids put together to quickly launch it. Now we have actually cleaned that up a little bit. Let me show you the complete diff. So if you want to see what exactly we did, you can look at it in a slightly cleaner fashion. /fix admin dashboard git add. I think all of these changes are relevant, but we will see. I also think we have very strict linting here, so I'm sure this will break. Fixed admin dashboard. Okay, it's 10, so it took us an hour to fix this. I would have thought I missed something, but I didn't. Let me push this to GitHub, create a PR, and take you through the diff and try to explain it. But again, it just looks like this person has so much superpowers, but the person just has context. So okay, this you can download notes. So don't worry if you did not understand this. Admin dashboard also does a bunch of cleanup. What was that? The name of that function? Get course content. What's that function called? No, get content by ID. Cleanup also has a bunch of cleanup. Specifically, this did not explicitly tell if it was returning a folder or a content like video/Notion doc. This PR fixes that by making the return type explicit, and since this function was being used in various places, had to fix that as well. Alright, let me take you to the diff next. Let's also make sure the diff. Oh boy, I was about to say let's make sure the diff isn't too crazy, but I pushed it to the wrong repository. That makes sense. Git push origin to head. I also have a fork of this repository that's private. That's just initially where the repo wasn't open source. So don't worry about this. Let me copy this over. Go to the main repository, and here let me PR it now. Fixes admin dashboard, and now let's look at the diff. The diff is much more manageable now. If you look at it, what does it do? Content type is not, what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? Wait, did I? Okay. Derived. It's not derived from course content of 0 anymore. It is returned explicitly from this, find content by ID function. And everywhere where I was just passing course content of 0, now I pass course content of value, especially if it is, a video or a Notion doc. Well, we don't have a Notion renderer, so that's fine. And I mean, when we do, we have to make that change here as well. It won't be course content of 0.id. It will be, whatever the change is done here, which is course content.value. It's commented right now, so it doesn't matter. I added a ts_ignore here, which again is bad. We'll see what that is, and if we can fix it. And then again, everywhere it's just the usage. This became, a better type. Used to be any, now is a slightly more manageable / digestible type here. Rather than doing .0.id, it is the actual content type. We had to add this extra check to make TypeScript happy. Runtime will still work correctly if you don't have this check, because if content type.value.type is Notion, then of course it is not a folder. But to make TypeScript happy here, I had to add this check as well, which makes this content type variable really irrelevant. I don't know if it's being used at all below this. It is, but you don't. It doesn't provide. It does provide some purpose, but I had to add this extra check to make TypeScript happy, so sort of loses its purpose as well, because you have to add. Never mind. Ignore what I'm saying. Cool. Oh, I have this comment that I should remove. Another bad thing in the repo is I don't have good comments which come to bite me. For example, I had to figure out what this function does versus if I had right comments, I wouldn't have had to do that. Fixes content by ID, and then let me push this in. All right, I think I've gotten rid of this comment, and this really is the actual change that I've made. And then everywhere else, wherever find content by ID was being used, I had to fix that. The real change is giving this a better return type, and also why is there an all here? And also wherever this is being used, making sure it's working correctly. I should probably peer review this if I'm being honest. It touches a lot of things. I've not tested this as much as I would like, but we ball. Let me just wait for this to succeed and then I'll merge. Meanwhile, videos are being uploaded. We can move on to the next issue. The biggest blocker is gone. The reason this was top priority was because a video that was recorded on Sunday wasn't being able to be uploaded. Now it is uploaded. Only I just need to make sure it gets uploaded on the dashboard, and then I can just replace the URL. So first one is done. I will merge it as soon as this succeeds. Let's move on to the second one, which is app.100xsteps.com redesign PR. This one will be slightly easier for you to digest. Well, I don't know, actually I haven't opened it, but basically we had a new design that someone created for this admin dashboard. As you can see, it looks fairly ugly right now. I wouldn't call app.100xsteps.com very well designed. Specifically, if you open this folder view, looks fairly ugly. So the new design looked something like this, slightly better, I would say, significantly better, if anything. So the PR was, you fix this. A lot of people created the PR. Now, I need to make sure I find the right person, because I feel few people might have cloned PRs as well. Let me find the oldest one, then we'll go from there. I did find one that I really liked. I reached out to the person on Twitter as well. That's funny. This one I liked. Let's see. There you go. This guy's PR. All right. So this will be the first one I'll review. And some people might have just copied from here. This touches a lot of files. Does it have merge conflicts? Now that the good thing is, doesn't have merge conflicts, which is surprising considering it's such a big PR. Let me bring this person's code locally, do a bunch of testing, and also look at the changes. Again, this comes in the second bucket of it has been coded by someone else. That part is done. Merging it in itself, especially if it's an external contributor, I wouldn't say trust, but the first time I'm looking at their code, the lint failed. Then it's a little hard. Okay, what's up here? Wow, there's a lot of what's payout methods? When was this added? Okay, the lint is completely broken. Does that break the build as well? If not, we'll just merge for now, and we can fix the lint later. Meanwhile, let's look at the PR a little bit. This is the PR. It touches 42 files. That is a lot of files. They add framer motion. It's not the best thing in the world, but maybe you need it. Basically, you should avoid adding more dependencies to a code base, but it's fine. Let's look at a few changes that they've made, even though this is like almost an unreviewable PR of sorts. It's very big. Let's look at it. This app.bar.tsx, they've changed some styles. They've started to use CLSX, which is good. And what is class name here? It comes as an argument. App bar class name equal to, okay, just pass it in from whoever is using it. That makes sense. Love it. Removing comments. This bread, I want to make this actionable for the video and also review. So basically, let me tell you high level first what I'm doing. whenever there's such a big PR, a lot of times it can only be tested by a human, by which I mean, by testing it locally. So I would probably step one. I mean, I want to look at the code as well. I don't want to blind merge. That said, the things that I'll be looking at won't be the complete change. It'll be more like, okay, has he changed any logic, or has he just changed the styles? Because if they've just changed the styles, then we're good. I can, solve. It'll be very hard for me to look at this and review, okay, this is what is happening. I can do that, probably should do that, but I'm not going to do that. Little bit I understand, this was the old, content card or card component, which is, the thing that you see here. This is the new one where he uses this content cover.png file to, which is this slightly prettier content card, which the designer added here. So a little bit I understand these. I'm just going to focus on those, like the styles. And if they look good, just gonna test it heavily and then merge it. Okay, it's already being reviewed. Don't we have Day.js? Try to use Day.js. I'll make sure. All right. Yeah, that's fine. The few things I would like to look at is how they've written, the multi sidebar logic. This design had like two sidebars. This one sidebar and then this second sidebar. That would be one thing I'd be interested to see and make sure it's not done in a super ugly way. Other than that, it'll be just cleanups, which I would like to review, but I won't review the. I will test it more, review it less, basically. So let's get their code base locally. There are a few ways to do it. The easiest way is, I mean, ideally you should read through the code base. I'm just going to blind run their code base locally with my production, with the production DB URLs, which means if they have some code to log the production DB somewhere, okay, build works, so we're good. I can just merge our old PR. Let me quickly do that. I don't want to merge this. I want to merge this guy's change first. It's a much bigger PR than mine. And the way to get his code locally is to go to his fork. He doesn't have a fork. Let's see. Where was his PR? Okay. Seems like there's another person who had a PR before. Let me make sure his wasn't. Okay, it's closed only. Most other PRs are closed. I'm just going to go with this one for now. I hope nothing shady is done here, by which I mean, he hasn't copied it from some other PR. I would think that's the case, but we'll see. Git remote add Ankit. His repo is called cms-new. Git fetch Ankit. What's the name of the branch again? It's called feat redesign 8888. All right, git checkout Ankit / feat redesign. Git checkout -feat / Ankit. All right, I think we have his code locally. Let me do a global yarn install because our guy added a few dependencies. Specifically, he added framer. So I will have to do a global yarn install before I can try their code out locally. It of course failed. No, it looks fine. Yarn dev, moment of truth. Let's see if it's as easy as just me reviewing it locally or running it locally and then deploying it. Let's see. The good thing is we have decent processes to revert. There we go. Broke very quickly. Unsupported server component check layout.tsx line 12. Which layout.tsx is the question? I would assume the global one only. Menu options is not exported from sidebar. All right, there are a bunch of errors. Let's try to debug them. Unsupported server component undefined. Either I'm on a different Node.js version than this person. pnpm install pnpm. I don't think this should fix it. I'm still trying, but I don't think the issue is that I'm using yarn and this person was using pnpm. The error is in some layout.tsx. We don't have too many of these. What page am I on? I'm on my courses. That probably means this one right here. I don't see anything shady that should cause this error, but I don't know. We'll see. pnpm dev. There you go. Refresh. Please use. Someone should fix this very big error it's throwing at my face. Okay, the same error, but before I reach there. Ugh, worst explanation ever. 10:24. We still have an hour and a half to go, so it's fine. If I'm able to merge this and the next one, I think it's a great start. But to kick things off, let's look at the very first warning it's throwing at me too much. It is saying in layout.tsx, it uses menu options which comes from sidebar, which is not exported on sidebar. So let's go to sidebar. Does it have menu options? It doesn't. Where are we using menu options? We're using it here. Okay, see a clear-ish error. Import menu options as sidebar from this thing, and this does exist, but it doesn't export menu options. It actually comes from /index. All right, that is probably just a node version issue. It works for him, doesn't work for me. There you go. Okay, that was it. Wow, that is cleaner than I was expecting. All right, so what does it have? My courses, where I see all of my courses. That includes. Oh, something is super wrong here. These thumbnails are incorrect. View content. All right, that is not bad at all. HTML basics. Close this. Close this. Have the video. This thing is broken. This came Nietzsche. Should have been on the side. Let's open a Notion doc. It's not too bad. I mean, it's pretty close. We should merge a V1 and iterate. Yeah, this is good enough, if I'm being honest. Does everything else here work? Resources. We don't have any resources. Bookmarks takes me to my bookmarks, which is good. If I go here, it does take me to the video. All right. Yeah, the only problematic thing is this, which I'm sure is fixable. Questions. Oh, I forgot we had this. We built this, but never really used it. Voice processing arrays. Okay. The media could not be loaded either because server network failed. Okay, people do ask questions here. Surprising. I did not know that people did that 2 days ago. Wow, this is more active than I was hoping. Anyways, watch history works as well. There are some very easy to fix bugs. For example, oh, this works. So this is not bad at all. Like, it's mergeable. The only one thing I would fix is one, I would remove the resources section. Resources. Yeah, I would remove this for now. Refresh. Books marks has a typo. There goes my contribution. Watch history looks decent. What is this? I don't know. There's some very small, easily fixable things here, if I'm being honest. And if I go here,
Jonas, you doing?
yeah, I love it. It deserves a very heavy bounty, I would say. What's up with week 34 live open source contribution? Network tab. Oh, that makes sense. That's fine.
All right.
This works. Yeah, let me quickly fix the one small thing here, then we're good to go. Which is,
you make files and folders?
You know, this comes below, which it shouldn't. This should come on the side. Or I can just create a PR for it. Like, I can just create an issue for it. Someone else can do it as well. Either is fine. Let's see if it's easily fixable. Video player.tsx, I think. Video player controls. That looks like the right component. Isn't the right component. Video player 2 probably is the right component. Yeah, there you go. It's been used here, which has, what is this component called? Video player segment. Used here, and it has the segments. This is to toggle the segments. There you go. Show chapters and this thing. If I comment this, if I refresh, I don't.
Alright, you make
see any chapters. If I uncomment this, I see the chapters.
Files and folders here. Let's say I want to.
If I go here, it does have a flex. W full flex 1. The first child is the W full. What's killing us? Let's see. Div/div.
To go to desktop and create a new folder.
Refresh. Close. Let's look over here. This is the video component. Not required, sir. Thank you. Alright. This is the parent div, which has 2 children. Oh no. Where is the chapters div? There you go. That's the chapters div. But it also has flex. That's flex. Is W full what is killing us? Let's see. No. It's this guy and then this guy. Flex direction column. Oh boy, I broke everything. Where is this coming from? Where do we have the flex call? Okay, we do have a flex call right here. It has this div followed by this div. So what I need to do is put both of them together inside a div which has flex. I think that should do it. Alright, there you go. Sort of did it.
Alright. However, you make files and folders.
Looks decent. If I do this, get shoved really bad. And why is that?
Here.
Oh, there you go.
Let's say I want to go to desktop and
it's a little bit wider than I would like. W full semi. That looks decentish. Yeah, I don't mind that. I'm sure a designer would disagree, but this looks like a decent start to me. Comments are a little messed up, especially. It's fine. It's a great V1. Let's go back to my courses. I see this fairly well. This is a little broken, like small things that are broken, which I'm sure someone can fix. But the problem is the thumbnails are broken. That's the biggest problem. Course content or your content card. What's up with the thumbnail here? I'm sure this guy's hard coded the thumbnail or something. There you go. What's up with this course card? I'll just have course dot thumbnail dot let's see. What does this guy return? Does it not return? Oh, it is image URL, my bad. Fresh. Oh, there you go. That looks right to me. I'm course rich. I have too many of them. Alright, that looks good. Click on view content. And I see the content. What is this cohort 3 thingy over here? I should remove that. I see it in all of them. Cohort 3.0. Cohort. Yeah, I don't know why they've added that. Let's remove it. Looked better for some reason with it, but that's fine. Alright, there are some like small inconsistencies. For example, why is there no completion? Yeah, why there's no completion? This thing here and here. Let's see. Course total is not undefined and total is not undefined. Okay, this person only has 0. If you have 0, this thing, then you can just do this. So let's just remove this second check right here. There's something very messed up here. It's 300% complete. Oh boy. Oh. There you go. That looks good. Why does 0 to 100 not have a completion? This thing. Total videos is not equal to undefined. So you're saying total videos is undefined for this guy? Course not total videos equal to undefined and no videos total. Refresh. Why is total videos equal to undefined for 0 to 100 and for DevOps? If I click on view content, it does have a lot of videos. So where does total videos come from? Here. Total videos 0, if parent ID equal to content ID. Courses.map course for is I think I'm not explaining what I'm thinking, which is not good considering this is going on YouTube. I hope you understand the problem. Some of these don't have these bars. Others do. this guy and this guy specifically don't have these bars. Why? Because what is the check? If course.total_videos is not undefined, then we render it, which means for some reason course.total_videos is undefined for this course and this course. Question is why? Even I don't know. Let's see how this logic is created. The way this logic is created is you first get all the purchases. It happens inside the function which gets all the purchases, right? This is my purchase, this is my purchase, this is my purchase. These all these are my purchases. And here what do? We get all the courses. The way we get total videos watched and the total videos is for all the content of a course, all videos dot for each parent id if parent id equal to content id, all videos. What is all videos? Get all videos. Parent id is what for a course? Sorry, for a video. Content and find many where video. Thinking. For a video, the parent id is which content it belongs to. So here is the schema. If you look at the schema of this website, there are a bunch of courses. This is a course, this is a course, this is a course. These are all courses. There are a bunch of purchases, which means which user has bought which course. There is a lot of content, which is could be a folder. That is also content. As you can see, content has a type, which we've written string here. It should be an enum, which could be a folder right now, could be a video, or could be a Notion doc. So one of these three things is every content that you see over here. If I open this content, which is a folder, it has a bunch of folders. If I open this GSOC folder, it has video 1, video 2, video 3, so on and so forth. So these are the durations. That makes sense. So the problem is how do we get all the count of all the videos in this course? The way that is done is every course has some content. This course ID has this content ID, which means for example this 100x devs code has 35 contents inside, 35 folders, which of course have more content inside recursively. Metadata. Where is the parent ID here? I don't see that. Parent ID. Every content has a parent ID, which means if I have a folder above me, and the top level folders don't have that. These folders don't have a parent ID. They're just top level folders, but every folder inside them will have a parent. Every content, be it a video, be it something else, will have a parent, which is again content. The same thing right here, because this is content. Anything inside it has a parent, which was also an entry in the database as content. This recursive flow is what makes this SQL database conform to some NoSQL properties of a folder inside a folder. Now we can go to the check. What was the check here? Totally forgot where that existed. Get purchases. Here you will see QE. This is what we do. Courses don't map this thing. Courses dot or course dot content dot for each, for every top level folder that exists. I check for every video that exists, is its parent ID equal to that content ID? That looks right to me. I feel like the issue is this is a string and this isn't. Let me make it 2 double equal to and see if that fixes it. I feel like that's the issue. I could be wrong. That does not fix it. So then there's nothing else I can do other than trying to log a few things now. So I'm going to log. Oh well, one small thing. It might have been cached. Let me restart the server. Refresh. We're at 10:42. By 11 p.m. we should be able to merge this, and then we'll go to the same PR in daily code, which is another project that we have. All right, did not fix it. What was the change that I made? Where's the change that I made? Get purchases. So the question is, for this specific course whose ID I don't remember, why does the control never reach here? For every video, parent ID equal to content ID, then total videos plus plus. No, that looks right. The logic looks right to me. Let's do a console.log underscore courses and go from there. So yeah, we're just going to, I could open the database and debug this, or I can do what I've done here, which is log the whole thing. All right, everything is logged. Let's look at the very first course, which is this. Which one's breaking here? 0 to 100. So that's this course right here. It has a bunch of content inside. So firstly, let's just filter it out. Let's just say courses, is this dot filter x dot ID equal to 3. Let's just focus on one course right now. If I refresh this now, I should hopefully just see. Well, never mind. Yeah. I basically want const content IDs equal to underscore courses dot filter x dot ID equal to 3 dot map x dot children. Was it course content JSON dot stringify this, the content dot map x dot content ID. Refresh. Oh, I didn't log it. Console.log content IDs. These are all the content IDs in this specific 1 to 100 course. And then what are all the video IDs? Console.log all videos dot map x dot parent ID. Let's see that. There you go. The question is there any overlap here? The answer is it doesn't look like it, if I'm being honest. Is there anything here that is here? I see 23 here, I see 23 here. So that should lead to, control reaching here. Console if content, if course.id equal to 3, console.log control did reach here. It did reach there. So total videos plus plus did happen for that course. Okay. Total videos is greater than 0 and total videos watched. So can I do a console.log total videos here? Let's see if it is ever 0. It is 0 in 1, 2, 3 cases, which is probably for some random ass courses. If I do a if course.id equal to 3 and then log total videos, then total videos is 133. So that looks right. So this returns the right thing. Question is, why does it become 0 over here? Let's go to course card, which is being rendered in what page is this? My courses, my dash courses slash page.tsx renders my courses, which gives you a weird ass error. What is this error? My courses cannot be used as JSX component. Its type promise JSX not valid. This needs to be async. I will have to look at this. Why is this problematic? We'll come to it. Oh, get courses, which get purchases, return purchases. That is fine. And if I go here, that looks right. That looks totally right. If I do a console.log purchases, what does it give me? It gives me a bunch of things, but the biggest thing it gives me is that this specific course that has ID 3 doesn't have any total videos. This guy does not have any total videos. Even though when we were here, we saw that total videos was something for the course with ID 3. So what is happening? Something is changing it here. Actually, I don't know. If course from DB and course from DB.length, this thing and this thing get extra courses. Hold on. Like this in the database. I mean, see the issue here. Issue's right in front of my eyes. Courses from DB, get extra courses. Yeah, that makes sense. The issue is we get the course from the database here. We get it from this courses array here. So this should probably be, courses dot filter x dot id equal to course from db dot courses from db dot includes x dot id. Map x dot id dot includes. Yeah, all courses is this, but if you go here, then we just use courses, get extra courses is this thing with the responses. What is the response? So just push course. All right, there you go. Okay, DevOps is still broken though. DevOps is still broken here. We'll see why this got fixed. I'll share very soon why. I mean, this is a one line change, as you can see. Extra courses. Okay, let's open this once at least. Maybe it doesn't have. Oh, it doesn't have any videos. What an idiot am I? The DevOps code doesn't have any videos, which is why you see 0 over here, because you don't see the progress bar over here because it doesn't indeed have any video. All right, there was a one-line fix. Let me share what the fix was. So we have extremely we have a weird logic where, when you get a user's purchase, which is, what all courses they have purchased, that exists in the database in a very clean database, which has, this image, title, whatever. The user's progress, how many videos they have done, we have to calculate from another database. Of course, there's a different table. There's a different table that has, how many videos they have done. We don't store this 10% in the database. We just store what all videos the person has check marked. What does check marking mean? The user can go to the dashboard and check mark a video as completed. So if I go here and, I can mark this as completed, mark this as completed. If I mark them as completed, it means I'm done with this, and that is exactly what translates, to this percentage over here. So we have to calculate the number of videos that the user has done. I repeat, let's wait for this to load. There you go. We have to calculate कि बंदे ने कितनी कर ली है, how many videos have they already done. तो वो करने के लिए we have this very long logic right here that adds a has the rest of the course and adds some total videos and total videos watched. This is stored in this courses variable, but the problem was over here we were fetching things from the database directly and pushing them here. We were not getting it from this more populated courses table. This courses variable has something extra. It has whatever the database give you and some extra things over here, but we weren't using this courses variable here. We were using this courses from DB variable, which does not have the actual underlying timestamps, or how many, not timestamps, how many videos the user has done. So this right here was the fix. Let me quickly commit that. All right, now comes the mildly challenging bit, which is Ankit has created a pull request, and it comes from his fork. I have made some changes on top of this fork. So how do I push those changes here? This PR is created out of this branch, which comes from a fork that Ankit has. I will have to push to his fork or create a PR on his PR basically to be able to push my changes on top. There might be a different way to do this actually. Maybe not. Either way, to avoid me pushing to his fork and waiting for him to merge it, what I can do is I can create a fresh pull request with his changes intact. I repeat, all of his commits would still be there. I will just add my commits on top, and that should still add him as a contributor here. I would hope. I think his contributions would still be counted, and that will just be a PR that will have two authors, not one, me and him. If I create a fresh pull request from his fork, so this is his pull request. It has all the commits by Ankit. I added some changes on top of it. I don't know why I changed the schema. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to commit these changes, and I'm going to create a fresh PR that has both his commits and mine. And that is what I will merge into main, and that should, I think, add both of us as contributors. The goal basically is his contribution doesn't get missed, which I think won't happen. If I create a fresh PR, as long as it's created out of his fork. Cool. Let's see the diff really quickly. I added a few changes here that fixed a few problems that his code base had, or some problems that our code base also had. Let's keep going. I don't know why do I have such a big change over here? Oh, it was for the sidebar. That makes sense. Remove the bookmarks. I don't think this is needed anymore. I think triple equal to is fine. All right, and then so yarn.log. So git add source, git commit -m, added changes on top of Ankit's changes, and now I'm going to push this into a new branch. Oh, whoopsie daisy. Loading mark as is never assigned a value. Handle mark is completed. It's never used, so let's just get rid. Why is this not used? We'll see. let's push in a v1 and then happy to, you know, build on top of it. Handle mouse move, and then idx, whatever that is, which is this index. Okay, let's try that one more time. Git add source and commit. Handle mark as completed. Okay, why is this not used? Because this button got removed, which is fine. We have it in the sidebar, so I'm just going to get rid of all of this, and, you know, if need be, we can add it back. It's assigned a value but never used. All right, that's committed. Let's push this and create a PR, and let's see if I hog over all of Ankit's contributions, or if we're able to get it. Let me just mention very explicitly that this is forked out of this thing, added some changes on top of it. Alright, that looks decent. I see his 4 contributions and mine on top. I feel if I merge this in, we'll be fine. I could of course be wrong, but before that, let me just do a little more testing locally before, you know, we pull the trigger on this one. Again, as you saw, I did not sorry, I was booking my hotel. I did not did the hotel get booked, is the question. It did. I did not look at the code too much, which is something I should have done. Let me also, you know, actually test this logout functionality, re-login functionality. Oh yeah, that looks bad. If the user is logged in, then you shouldn't see this. You should take them to the landing page. Login. Okay, can be a follow-up. There we go. Seems like it is working. My courses, open a code. I mean, of course, fairly ugly things from time to time, which, you know, we should fix. But nothing that cannot be, you know, fixed with a little bit of iteration.
If you think that's more actionable,
just make sure the main functionality works as
the whole thing was
expected. One good PR to add if you're thinking of adding one, which I don't know if it may or may not be relevant, which is
helpful. Happy to.
It's like really slow. We should cache
more code reviews,
things a lot more than we do already.
Deeper into the code. I don't think I did that very well.
But yeah, this looks decent. I'm going to merge this.
Let me know, you know, if this is helpful at all, and if more such sessions are needed. With that, let's end it. I will see you guys in the next one.
GitHub.com code.xcms. Just 1 second. Sorry about that. Looking at the PR, lint is failing on some files. Let's quickly fix that. npm run format should just fix it. npm run format package.json format fix. npm run format fix. Git status, git. Oh, and why did nothing change? What are the 3 files that are breaking? Schema.ts. this file right here. It says the npm run format :check. Works here. Okay. Commit ration lint, but it says a few other files are broken here. I don't know. We'll see. Git push. Refresh. Again, we'll wait for this to finish. Take a really long time. Meanwhile, let me show you what we thumbnail. So PR1 and 2 we were able to do. I also want to get to PR3 really quickly, and then we can call it for the day. Other ones are actually smaller than the first three. First three also top priority, like have much more impact than whatever is below. So the question is, does this work? And it seems like it failed again. Linting is failing, which as long as the build is working for now, I will just ignore. So let me just confirm that the build works. As long as it builds correctly, I think lint we can fix eventually. And I'm just going to merge it if that is the case. That means our website will look very new, but at the same time, I haven't tested it as thoroughly as I should have tested it. For example, as you saw, if you're logged out, it shows you. Let me just show you what it shows if you're logged out. Let me just wait for this to finish. Oh, oopsie daisy. Okay, this is going to conflict with the changes that I had. So I'm going to for now ts ignore this. Ts ignores. All right. So the other PR that I made before this is going to conflict with this one, because if you remember the changes that we made, there were around this line only. But I think it should be fine. I think this one should go in first because fixing oopsie daisy. Yeah, it's going to be. This one's also going to create issues. I also feel like I haven't reviewed this as much as I would like to. I've just tested this. I should actually probably spend some time there before I merge. But let me just make sure the build works and we go from there. All right, the same thing here. I think we're good now. We're not good at all. No. TS ignoring our way out of all the bugs, or all the build errors. So we can have a V1 in. Then we should fix these TS ignores. And never a good idea to introduce TS ignores in your code base. All right, there we go. That should have done it. Or that did do it. As I said, this isn't the best right now. It has some, it's like a little rough around the edges. For example, if you log out, it doesn't take you back to the landing page. It keeps you on the My Courses page. If I log out here, it keeps you on the My Courses page. You see no courses are there. Oh my god. And people get extremely anxious and start to email whenever the screen comes. So at the very least, I should add that check somewhere. Page.tsx in My Courses should, if the user is not logged in, I guess that's a better way to do it. There are like many better ways to do what I'm doing here. Const session equal to await get server session. If not, session dot user, then you do a const router equal to use router dot push slash. Let's see if that does what we expect it to do. Doesn't seem like it. Oh, because I'm doing an npm run start and not an npm run dev. Refresh. Does it take me back to the landing page if I'm not logged in? No, it just breaks. Use router only works inside the client component. Of course it does. This is a server component. Let's create a new component called redirect in components. Which is a client component. Export function redirect. Also, don't be shy. I don't know, if you're doing day-to-day coding, don't be shy to use AI. I turn it off purely because it's a slight educational video. Slight, I say, because I'm sure most things here are there's nothing, you can't learn much from it because it's going so fast, or you need to code it yourself to be able to learn it. Dot push, but you get the idea. Don't be too, it's not like I don't use AI day to day when I am coding. I just disabled it for this video. You get the idea. Alrighty, that looks good. Now let's try it out. Yeah, it did not redirect me. Why? Oh, sorry, return, redirect, there you go. Cool. If I go to the /my-courses page, if I'm not logged in, it redirects me. If I go to the login page and log in, then you see I come here. If I log out, then you see I go back here. Cool. Probably the last thing I had to do. Oh, some errors I saw. Fine. If I log out, location is not defined. The hell? What does that even mean? Push href use navigation. Reference error, location is not defined. Yeah, I have no idea what that is, but there's probably bad practice to do this. Should put it inside an effect. Is that it? Let's see. I don't like an ugly red error. And if you can fix it, we should fix it. Is what I say on a YouTube video. In real life, did I see it again? I don't know actually. Let's log out. Relog in. Yeah, I think we're good. Cool. Let's make sure the build is still succeeding. If it is, let's merge it in and let's deploy it to production, and then let's hope for the best. Meanwhile, while it is deployed to production, I will also review this a little bit. I've reviewed this a little lesser than I would have hoped for, by which I mean I haven't reviewed this at all, as you saw in the beginning of the video. So let me review this a bit after I merge this in though, because functionally it looks fine, and I don't know, I can't justify not reviewing it if I'm being honest. We'll see if there's a bug, we'll fix it when it comes. It's like too big a PR for me to spend 2 hours to review. Cool, I think the build is working. So let me do a final push here, and we merge it in, and we assign a bounty. As soon as we merge it in, everything up to date. Why is that? Git add source, git commit -m, fixed build, redirect, push, and without waiting for the lint to succeed, I'm going to merge this in. Oh yeah, there you go. This one's in. Go to the original PR and put a bounty. How much is that? 550. Thank you. This is contingent after the to make sure the code wasn't another PR. Don't think it was, but just putting it out here. Alrighty, that looks good. Thank you, Ankit, and I have followed you. And based on your GitHub, I'm a little skeptical if you made this yourself or copied it from a different PR. So that's why I've put the contingencies. If this is copied from somewhere, we'll split the bounty, do something. But I hope it isn't, and yeah, you get the bounty. Alrighty, cool. This is merged. Time to deploy it. The way to deploy it is a little weird. I'm going to hide the screen now while I do the deployment, and then we'll go from there. I cannot show how the deployment happens. It exposes the database URL basically, not for any good reason. But yeah, let me complete it. Let me deploy it. Let me show you the final thing in production. All right. I have deployed the changes. Let's just wait for them to get deployed to the cluster, and then we should hopefully see everything on app.100xsteps.com. And while this was happening, I was also looking at another pull request, basically the next one. We've been able to do 1 and 2. We should probably move on to 3 really quickly, because that also is a very similar UI fix. That's partially been reviewed by Sargam, so I don't want to intrude here and merge. He's mentioned he will be merging it in a week, but I at least want to try it out locally. This was made by 𝗟𝗶, who's primarily a designer. I don't know, actually, maybe not, but I think he's taking a stab at front end here. So I just want to make sure I review it locally myself as well before it gets merged. So at the very least, I'll review it locally if I like it, and it seems like easy to merge. I'll probably merge and deploy this as well. To recap, until now we have fixed a bug that lets admins upload. I hadn't deployed it to prod yet. I've done that right now. Same for app.100xsteps.com redesign. It was coded by someone else. I merged it and productionized it. Seems like it should be deployed. So if I go to app.100xsteps.com, it does show me the new UI. Everything looks decent. Let me go to one of the courses. That's really the hot path to test here, to make sure people are able to look at the videos and they're not stuck.
What are we covering today? We are
that looks good. All right, and if there's a bug, we can always revert. What else? Yeah, this is done. The only thing that's left now is the daily code PR. Let me quickly bring this in locally and then test it out. We go from there. All right. Cool. Open daily code. Git checkout, or sorry, git remote add origin 2 or origin 3. Sorry, I don't know. 𝗟𝗶 this thing right here, git fetch 𝗟𝗶h. What's the branch name? UI-redesign. Git checkout UI-redesign. I have some changes that I'm what are these changes? Git add docker file.prod commit -m added prod docker file git status. What are these changes that I had made locally? Let's see. Git add apps. Alright. Git checkout. Git checkout UI-redesign. That looks good. npm install. I'm sure he added some dependencies. I'm not sure actually, I'm guessing. npm run dev. I looked at the diff a little bit. I'm unsure if the changes have been made, but we'll see. It's 12. I think we're at a decent pace here. Alright, npm run dev starts the app locally. Let's go here. Client not yet initialized. npx prisma generate. It's taking a long time. Again, the .env here points to my, yeah, I already see. Oh, well. Oh boy, that looks pretty good. Kudos to you, sir. Wow, that looks amazing. Let's open one of these. Yes, looks really good. This was the old design. As you can see, DOM, basics of DOM, and then this is the new design. I like it. Let's open this. Start. And let's see if this is the landing page redesign. Let's see if the slides have changed as well. Wow, that this page has changed as well, and boy, this does it look pretty good. Wow, bro, you're like really good. Too bad for you. You're hired full time here, so you're not getting a bounty. But boy, oh boy, this is so good. This is so good. Kudos to you, Keshav. So, wow, I'm like super impressed, surprised, and yes, I'm deploying it to production right now without testing it. I'll probably test this a little bit. We'll see. There's a login. There is a toggle for dark and light mode. There's a download button that hopefully works as expected. I can go back to the home page by clicking on this. There's some bug here from time to time, which is fine. I'm sure it's fixable. What does it say? Can read property of undefined join. Okay. Promises start. Yeah, I love it. Like very good. Very oh, something is wrong here. The slides aren't sliding. Jump to assignments. How did assignment become number 2 here? Shoutouts followed by assignments followed by classes in JS. I think assignments was at the end. I don't know actually. Yeah. The order is messed up somehow. I think that's a separate bug though. Alright. Boy oh boy. Yeah, easy to impress me, or I don't know, you're a smart guy here, Keshav. Let's see, some small, runtime bugs from time to time, which, if I'm being honest, we will. Have I made any change on top? I haven't. I'm going to not merge this yet, deploy it. After I deploy it, we will see how people respond to it, and if, you know, is there pagination? There is pagination here. Can I search? Oh, search is broken. Someone reported that a while back. Need to fix that. Okay, let me test a few things before I just merge this in blind. The thing to test is, are these pages working if I go directly here? I saw an error a while back, so I want to make sure I don't see that error. This one. Track IDs is a string array use params. This is. Right, so do see this is an error. The question is, where are you being used? Page toggle.tsx. Used here. All problems tracks. Track IDs. Let's accept it as an argument here. Yeah, that's fine. Page toggle is being used here, and this comes from track tools. Current track equal to track IDs or join slash. Okay, why are you being used? Drop down menu, disabled equal to current track equal to this thing. Okay. You know what? I'm going to get rid of this for now, which is not the best thing. But let me see if everything works as expected, and then I'll add this feature back. Sorry, localhost colon 3000. Basics of DOM, start, refresh. It works as expected. The disabled functionality here is broken now. You know, this isn't disabled. Someone please fix that. But other than that, this looks very good. One big issue I'm going to put up next is this renders really bad. And, you know, again, I would, you know, hope someone fixes it with the polish that 𝗟𝗶 has fixed this, which is, I wouldn't call it a bug, I would call it a feature. Okay, create custom renderer for everything that comes from Notion. Basically, all this data, you know, this text, this thing that you see over here all comes from Notion. And as you can see, it's not the prettiest. You know, images don't have a border, you know, things like these. You can customize it. For example, all the code snippets that you see here are custom renderers that we have written for this code. Add custom renderers for, you know, things like headings, text blocks, so they look slightly prettier than what it looks like right now. Alrighty, this is what it looks like right now. And, you know, if you add a custom renderer, which means, you know, if text comes from Notion, it should render, I don't know, you know, with a better font or whatever. Change the background color to be black. You know, very low hanging fruit to make this page a little cleaner. If I change the background color to black, let me try that out. You know, already looks much better than what we had, if I'm being honest. But, you know, having separators from time to time, I don't know, I'm sure you can look at it and tell this doesn't look the best, so you know how to fix that. Is this mobile friendly? Yeah, surprisingly it is. Love it. Great work, 𝗟𝗶. I'm going to deploy it, and, you know, if it fails, then we will just revert it. Alright, I'm going to again do the process of deployment, which is secret. Be back in 5. Alrighty, so we're deployed. Let me do a quick test, just make sure, you know, it seems like it's working, if I'm being honest, but let's see. Wow, the sign up page is also redesigned. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it works. And of course it broke. we will revert. Could have just rolled back. Let's see. Yeah. All right, we're short on time here, so I will call it. Anyways, this wasn't merged. I was taking, I was hacking away, productionizing it before merging the code. We'll wait for the code to merge and only then we'll productionize it. What could have gone wrong? I don't know. I made a few changes locally to make the build pass. Probably that's what broke it. So yeah, I've just reverted it for now. We'll wait for it to get merged. If you want to follow along any one of these repositories, maybe contribute yourself. You can go to 𝗟𝗶H. There are like a few repos here. Full disclosure, I'm not too active here. It's like maintained by a lot of other folks now. But Daily Code CMS are the most active ones. RFC is one if you want to look at a new code, an independent project. There'll be one more we're adding here very soon. That will also be an active project. Should get launched very soon. Job board is, or should at least be fairly active, if I'm being honest. It'll be an important project. Everything else is, I don't know, not super top priority at the moment. But yeah, feel free to hang out here. You might see me from time to time, but you'll find other people as well. We're fairly aggressive in, finding, merging, deploying, giving out bounties. That's pretty much it for this one. To recap, what did we do? Well, we were supposed to do a lot. And all of the, ISR 0.4, someone else can pick up. 0.3 will first get merged and productionized. 1 and 2 we were able to do. 5 is written, need to productionize it. 6 is written, need to productionize it. 7, I think someone has a PR for. So don't create another one, but I'm pretty sure someone created a calendar view, and would have been nice if I was able to merge this in as well. Yeah, this looks fairly decent. Yeah, I'm just going to request a review here. But yeah, that's pretty much it. app.100xsteps.com has the new UI. projects.100xsteps.com does not yet have the new UI. I have to reach somewhere at 2, so I will have to call it. Thank you everyone for joining. Let me know if the session was insightful at all, and if not, that's also fine. We can cut it down and have a more crisp edit for you